La Lengua Teatro en Español is a theater company that started in 2019. It started from the wish of having Spanish-speaking theater in San Francisco. My name is Virginia Blanco. I'm the artistic director of La Lengua Teatro en Español. I've been working as an actor in the Bay Area, and it was fascinating to know that we had so many bilingual actors and artists and creatives out there. And with Paul Flores, we decided to start this company. We started working with Vanessa Ramos, with Roberto Barea, as Deborah Cortez, and Diana Diaz. So our company is growing, and our community, our Latinx community, is saying finally we can have theater in Spanish here in San Francisco. It's important to have Spanish-speaking theater in San Francisco. If we don't have any theater in Spanish, there is a cut in the experience of theater. So it's a question of language justice as well in the arts. Having theater as an artistic discipline is essential for human experience in a way that dance, for instance, is so visceral, it's so human. You need to have another human being in front of you experiencing and telling the story right in front of you, especially when it has to do with the experience of a particular community, a particular culture. When we started inviting Latinx artists, for instance, to be a part of La Lengua, sadly we had this experience of them sharing with us the trauma they had, or someone in their families, about speaking Spanish, for instance, in a school, because having an accent, sometimes being like punished for speaking Spanish and saying, here we speak in English. So they weren't able to explore the culture of their ancestors. They told me, I love this idea, but unfortunately I can't be a part of, for instance, performing in Spanish because my Spanish is so bad. I used to speak Spanish when I was a toddler, maybe, but not now. So even that story is sad. That reinforces the idea of that we need to put it on a stage because we are here and we speak Spanish. Having theater in Spanish validates that Spanish is as important as English or any other language. What happened when we started creating pieces with La Lengua, audience members said it's so moving to hear for the first time theater in Spanish, or people that understand some English, some Spanish but speak English, and having the subtitles there and feeling that they could understand better or to connect with the piece itself and the story itself instead of the language being a barrier. The most moving stories are from artists that are able to perform in Spanish for the first time and inviting their grandparents, even their parents or family. They came into the Bay Area and are not fluent in English and they have been moved to tears. They say, finally I don't have to ask you what you said on the stage. I could understand everything and I wish you keep growing, and people, artists and audiences feeling that this is for them. The relationship of La Lengua and TBA started almost from the very beginning. We started in November 2019 with a stage reading at Brava. Then the pandemic started, and that was the first time we applied for a grant with no more experience than a stage reading and the huge desire of making theater in Spanish. TBA was the first organization that supported us with the grant, and thanks to that we started creating from scratch Zoom theater during the quarantine, and then they have been supporting us on a regular basis. So we are very grateful for their support and for believing in our mission. In order to create a residency and new pieces and a festival called Decolonization Stories, Historias de Descolonización, we couldn't have done that without the support of TBA. We're newcomers and we feel part of the theater community in the Bay Area thanks to TBA. Always gratefulness for not only for the support TBA is giving us to keep growing, but also for nurturing the efforts of all other companies, especially the new companies that have been appearing more recently in recent years. We all need TBA help, and the work we are doing is amazing, and we are so grateful for that. Thank you.
Chikahan is there to empower those voices, to tell them, hey, it's okay to tell about your messy stories, because I'm part of that messy story. We're a part of that messy story. I want to know that I'm not alone. My name is Alan S. Kismorio, and I'm co-artistic director of the Chikahan Company. What opportunities have been given to them, when they were younger, when they were in grade school, when they were in high school, when they were in college, that made it safe for them to tell them what exactly is going on in their world. What are their concerns? What do they understand about being Filipino? Eli, Sunny Orquiza, and Crystal Piamonte were talking about, hey, let's get together and create this company. We came up with the name Chikahan Company. Chica means to gossip. What is gossiping? It's telling stories. So we are telling stories. Chikahan empowers the voices of our community, and by community, I'm talking about every single person in this community, because they each have stories to tell. There's a very deep ocean of just what a Filipino is that we don't talk about because it's so complicated and sometimes so confusing and so frustrating. Like, why are we who we are? Why are we such pleasing people on the surface, but we're just a bunch of colonized people underneath. We're trying to figure out who the hell we are. And a lot of those people in the community are burgeoning storytellers, whether they are playwrights or actors or singers that don't quite know how to express themselves outside of their own circles. So we pulled two of our shining examples of emerging playwrights in the community. This is Conrad Panganiban and Lauren Andre Garcia, and they told a story about Filipino nurses, and not just about Filipino nurses, but about healthcare, and not just about healthcare, but about these mythical monsters that they've brought with them from the Philippines. And symbolically, all that culture and all that mess and all that fear that is brought with an immigrant to these states to work as a contracted nurse and to still be unappreciated in the Philippines and here. How do we get through these monsters that we brought along with us, that are inside us and are outside of us? Not only we felt was impactful to the community, but was impactful to the people of Chikahan. It made us realize that we can do this, that we can tell a big story. We just need a lot of love and care from our people. The mission, the work of Theater Bay Area is very important. Being able to bring together these various communities of artists and their visions and their dreams and giving them the resources to make it happen. Theater Bay Area is something that needs to be supported. They have the future of theater in their hands. And not to scare them, who's out there advocating for us? Trying to find rehearsal spaces, trying to find money, trying to find performance spaces and artists. I mean, it's so important for us to have something like Theater Bay Area, to be able to announce ourselves, to be able to say, hey, people who understand us, who are part of us, who are us, we are putting this company together, come be a part of this. And Theater Bay Area is a great megaphone for that.